Bipin Bihari Goswami, he told that because we are Brahmanas and Raghunath Das Goswami is of the Kayastha class, isn't it? Was it Kayastha class? I think so. So he will have to take blessings from us. That didn't go over very big with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He didn't appreciate it. Rather, he saw it as a discrepancy in the devotional attitude. He saw that there was some caste consciousness manifesting in the words of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Guru, the would-be Param Guru, if he were to take the Diksha from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur understood this lack of faith in Bipin Bihari Goswami on the part of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bhima Prasad at that time. So he directed him to go to the feet of Gorkashore Das Babaji Maharaj. Because Gorkashore Das Babaji Maharaj, you will find that it is very, it is a very useful point as far as the cultivation of the bhajan, which has been disseminated by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you will read in Navadip Bhava Taranga and also in his Gita Mala. You will read how he is Kamala Manjari, who is the eternal maidservant of her supreme goddess, Srimati Anangamanjari. And it is Anangamanjari who introduces her, Kamala Manjari, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, to Rupa Manjari, Rupa Goswami. Kamala Manjari has two sampradayas, as do we. We have our Diksha Sampradaya and we also have our Bhagavad Shiksha Sampradaya. Kamala Manjari, or Bhaktivinoda Thakur, also has his Diksha Sampradaya coming from Nityananda through Ramchandra Goswami and down through Bipin Bihari Goswami to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he also has his Bhagavad Sampradaya coming through Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was also his Vaish Guru. So, because in the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you will see that he gives expression to this relationship in the culture of the Madhurya Bhajan. He gives the expression to the relationship that he has with both Ananga Manjari and Rupa Manjari. And as we previously mentioned, Ananga Manjari is the Upa Manjari of Lalita Devi, and Rupa Manjari is the Mukhya Manjari of Lalita Devi. Both of them are serving the lotus feet of Srimati Lalita Devi, who is the principal Sakhi of Radha. So, just as he shows in his teachings about the cultivation of this Madhurya Bhav, which he propagates in his writings, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So similarly, it is quite appropriate for the Madhurya Bhaktas coming in the Saraswat line in any of its branches, ISKCON being one of the branches of the Saraswat line. It is so appropriate that Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj's Diksha line is similarly, just as Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Diksha line is coming from Nityananda, Janava Nitai. So, Janava is Ananga Manjari. So similarly, Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj's Diksha Pranali is coming from Janava Nitai. Not via the Ramchandra Dara, or the flow coming from Ramchandra, but via the flow coming from Birchandra Goswami. And similarly, we will be having our Bhagavad Sampradaya coming from Rupa Goswami. They are intersupportive features of our Sampradaya's legacy. So we should also appreciate, just as the Diksha Guru and the Shiksha Guru are equal manifestations of the mercy of Krishna, as instructed by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We should not in any way minimize the beauty and power of our Diksha relationship with Lord Nityananda and Janavadevi. That mantram, those mantram that we're receiving through our Diksha Pranali, namely the Gopal mantra and the Kama Gayatri mantra, these are, as mentioned by Dhyanchandra Goswami in his Gaur Govinda Archan Smaran Parati. Hare Krishna. Take it. He explains how these mantras are actually Ragmayi mantras. They have the power to transport our consciousness to the realm of Braja, to the feet of Brajendanandan Krishna, Shyam Sundar, and to the Nitya Sevas of the Nitya Leelas, the asta-kaliya-lilas of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. As a matter of fact, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in a dream, he saw the revelation by the mercy of Srimati Radharani, who appeared in that dream and explained that this Kama Gayatri mantra is a mantra for worshipping me, Radha. This is a mantra for worshipping Radha. But it is a mantra for worshipping Radha in her relationship with her Krishna. So, those who have received the Kama Gayatri mantra in our disciplic line, coming from Srimati Janavadevi, who is none other than Ananga Manjari, who is the topmost maidservant of Srimati Radharani. She is the younger sister of Radharani, and she's the topmost among all the Manjaris, including Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, who was Raghunath Das Goswami, Mani Manjari, and Guna Manjari. All these Manjaris, they serve going along with Ananga Manjari in the Nikunja Sevas of Radha and Krishna. Ananga Manjari is the Madhurya Sarup of Adi Guru, Sri Baladev. So, in our line, the mantram that we receive, especially the Kama Gayatri mantra and Gopal mantra, and Janavadevi also introduced the Gaur mantra, Gaur Gayatri. She introduced these. The Gaur mantra is also inclusive of the Bij mantra, Klim. This mantra is described by Gyanchandra Goswami as being capable of fulfilling all desires. All the desires that one may have in the heart may be easily fulfilled by the chanting of this Gaur mantra. So, if one desires to eternally serve in the land of Braja, the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, that desire can be easily fulfilled by the chanting of the Gaur mantra. And also, Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That mantra bestows the attainment of the Braja Leelas. You cannot attain the Braja Leelas without having a Braja Sarup, please. It is by this Nam Sankirtan that one can easily cross beyond all the difficulties of material entanglement and attain the realization of the eternal intrinsic Sarup in the land of Braja. It is not so difficult thing. Only we have to cry out for the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. So anyhow, I just wanted to mention one thing, because Nayan Mani Manjari, just as Kamala Manjari, Bhaktivinoda Thakur as Kamala Manjari, her supreme goddess is Ananga Manjari. So similarly, Nayan Mani Manjari, her supreme goddess is also Ananga Manjari. One time in Calcutta at the Bagh Bazaar Math, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was speaking to a group of scholars from the Calcutta University. And he began by explaining to them that our line is very, very sublime. Our line of disciplic succession is very, very sublime. Our line is coming from Radhika to Lalita Devi. He was explaining this to some scholars. Our line is coming from Srimati Radhika to Lalita Devi to Ananga Manjari. And as soon as he said Ananga Manjari, he started pouring incessant tears from his eyes, and he became completely choked up. For minutes and minutes and minutes, he could not control. And at a certain point, he only said that. Our line is very exalted, I think he said. Line of disciplic succession. Coming from Srimati Radharani to Lalita Devi to Ananga Manjari. And when he said Ananga Manjari, he couldn't control his emotions. He was pouring incessant tears from his eyes. He became totally choked up, incapable of speaking anything. And then at a certain point, he just folded his hands and just said, "Please excuse me," and got up, went to his room, locked the door, and didn't come out for 3 days without eating, sleeping, or anything, or passing stool, or any such things. So, Srimati Ananga Manjari is also the life and soul of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. By her grace, he has gained the feet of Srimati Rupa Manjari. So, anyhow, so we should never underestimate. We are graced by the power of our Diksha Pranali and also our Bhagavad Sampradaya. Both that have their power. Both are equal manifestations of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So we should not underestimate, we should not deprecate or disparage or in any way slight the power of our Diksha Sampradaya and the Diksha Mantram that we've received through that Diksha Sampradaya. Diksha Sampradaya means that Sampradaya through which the mantram have been passed from mouth of the Guru to the ears of the disciple, to the ears to the successive disciples. In this way. This is called Diksha Sampradaya. And Shiksha Sampradaya, Bhagavad Sampradaya, is the Sampradaya through which the Bhagavad Siddhanta has been preserved and disseminated, intact. So, in this way, we should understand. Nayan Mani Manjari, she is a beautiful Kishori Gopi, 12 years, 3 months, 15 days old. That is her eternal age. She has a bodily luster. The color of her body is pinkish. Srila Prabhupada also has told that his bodily color in his spiritual swarup is Gaur Rakta, which means that it is golden with a reddish hue. reddish highlights. So Bhaktisiddhanta's bodily color, perhaps this is why he turned Vivarna, whitish and then reddish, pinkish, because it was coming out, shining through. Anyhow, but and her nature, as almost all of the manjaris in the line from Ananga Manjari are Vama Madhya. Ananga Manjari is also Vama Madhya. Vama means contrary, Madhya means intermediately so. Prakara means harshly so. And Mridvi means very soft. So, just like Radharani is Vama Madhya. So she has the capacity to sometimes be a little harsh when she needs to be. And she can also be soft. So that is the beauty of the Madhya position. And so, Kamala Manjari is also Vama Madhya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Manjari Sarup, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is also Vama Madhya, and by his grace I hope that I may also become Vama Madhya, so that I can sometimes be a little harsh when necessary. And her seva, because we should know something about her seva. What seva does she do? Just like Kamala Manjari, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's seva in his Antara Sarup, Braja Sarup, is as Karpur seva. He makes camphor for the pleasure of Radha. She makes camphor for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. So, also, Bhaktisiddhanta, in his Braja Madhurya Sarup as Nayan Mani Manjari, what does she do? She does alakatak seva. That means that she paints the soles of the feet of Srimati Radharani with lac. So that is her main desired seva. Every maidservant of Srimati Radharani can do so many varieties of sevas, but the main seva that she desires the most is that seva. So that is our Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And she has, and her kunj is Megambuja kunj. And it's described here that her nivas, her place of residence, is Yavat, and alternatively Varshana, when Radharani goes to Varshana. One time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was with a group of his disciples and visiting Varshana, and he explained to them at that time that this is my eternal home, Varshana. So, in this way, we can understand a little something about the power of our Sampradaya. At this point, if you don't mind, because we're running out of time, I would like to read you something just to balance the scales a little bit. Which is, you can find this is a quote from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You can find this in Mahanini Swami's Gayatri Mahima Madhuri book, which is a nice book. It has a lot of nice things in it. So you can find it under the section, chapter 4, about Guru Gayatri. And it's under the section, the first section of the chapter, which is describing how the sadhaka and the, I guess you can say, depending on the degree of advancement, but he may see his guru in various ways. So I thought that it would be appropriate at this point to read this from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. These are some words of his. We've heard about him, so I think that it's also essential that on this day we should hear something from him. And I have a few things that we can read that will help us to appreciate Bhaktisiddhanta's feelings and his moods. Sri Guru is the daughter of Vrishabhanu. Who is the daughter of Vrishabhanu? Srimati Radhika. In the Madhurya Ras. This is very interesting, so perk up a little bit now, you hear? There are different ways in which different persons whose faculty of spiritual consciousness has been aroused judge about their own requirements. I've read this before, but I read it one time before on Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, just so that it may be seen in relationship to our Srila Prabhupada. But now we can also simultaneously we can see in relationship to our Srila Prabhupada and to our Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada as well. There are different ways in which different persons whose faculty of spiritual consciousness has been aroused judge about their own requirements. You have a right to judge about your own requirements. This should be marked. Alright? Every enlightened person is privileged to have a sight of Sri Guru in accordance with his or her particular mode of judgment about one's own requirements. I'm adding in parentheses. Sri Guru is that real entity who thus reveals himself to the view of the enlightened soul in a variety of ways. Realized by the method of Vatsalya Ras, Sri Guru reveals himself as Nanda Yasoda. In Sakya Ras, Sri Guru is Sridham, Subal, etc. In Dasya Ras, the lotus feet of Sri Guru, now get this, what he's saying, the lotus feet of Sri Guru act as Chitrak and Patrak. So the lotus feet of Sri Guru is acting as Radha, is acting as Lalita, is acting as Rupa, is acting as Anangamanjari, etc. According to the individual's disposition, natural spiritual predilection, the lotus feet will respond reciprocally. Yeyatam mam prapadite tang satai vibhajamyaham. And also because Sri Guru is the representative of Krishna, who is ultimately the original Guru. And Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana, he reveals himself in accordance with the desired bhava of any individual soul. The consideration of all these ashrayas or shelters meaning of the Vishaya, Krishna, arises in the heart while progressing in the service of Sri Guru. So we should check to see whether or not we're progressing. In other words, our service to Sri Guru should and really ultimately must be progressive. If we're not progressing in the service of Sri Guru, then we may not see or place any importance on these topics of discussion. But if we are in fact sincerely progressing in the service of our Guru, then we must come to grips with the necessity of recognizing his Antara Sarup in the cultivation of our eternal relationship with Krishna. Otherwise, to be real, we're cheating ourselves and we're also cheating our Guru. But especially we're cheating ourselves. Or you can say, we are cheated by the illusory energy of the Lord. They arise, that means the consideration of all these various ashrayas, either as Radhika, as Nanda Yasoda, as Sridam Subal, as Chitrak and Patrak. These considerations of these ashrayas